Um, just looking to tomorrow, I'm trying to remember if you ever went to this game as a young man when you were growing up. If you ever, how far back you went with it, but whatever the case, I assume this game's going to be the most different atmosphere than the one you would have had maybe all season, and I just wonder if you could speak to that and the implications of that.
Well, one, I never went when I was in high school. I'm not sure if it was at that point home and road. So, no, I did. I watched it on TV, but again, at the time, I can't remember they playing home and road games. And yes, it's different. But, we've had enough games. I think if it was the first game of the season, it'd be really different. But, I mean, we've had games under our belts. Both teams we played without fans, so we understand it. And it's simply basketball at that point.
Dave?
Yeah, Cuonzo, Illinois has their core guys back, but just how different are they playing this year just compared to in the past with some of the guys that Brad's added?
I mean, of course, they're a talented team. When you have your core back, that helps. They've added some really good freshman pieces, really talented. And I think the other thing, when you have returning guys, they're older, stronger, they're better because just the maturity as a basketball player. And I think it's safe to say that Ayo is as good as any point guard or combo guard in America. I mean, without question, the way he gets downhill, the way he attacks the rim and makes plays. So that part is understood. Kofi's as strong as anybody. Gorgie, the way he plays inside, outside, facilitates, moves the ball, all those things. Again, I'm not in their locker room, but I would imagine he's to them like Mitch is to us, a valuable piece to what they do.
Gabe?
Cuonzo, with all your guys that have such strong connections to Illinois, do you have to talk to them at all about making sure this game isn't treated any different than any other one? And is that different now that it's most of their third times going through it?
Well, I think what we always talk about is playing the game on the floor. And what I mean by that is all the other stuff swirling around outside of the arena in the stands that we don't have any control. Let's lock in it and let's play the game on the wood. That's where the basketball game is won, on the basketball floor. Don't get consumed with the other stuff, and because you can lose focus. And carrying out our assignments, the task at hand, winning the basketball game. These are the things we need to do to win the game. So let's focus on that. Anything else you don't need.
Mitch?
Cuonzo, you just touched on Ayo, called him one of the best combo guards in America. I'm curious, do you, obviously without getting into specifics of your game plan, can you, kind of sell out in stopping him, or does the balance that Illinois has around him kind of make that impossible and still kind of have to commit to one guy on him?
Well, I think what happens when you have teams that are in the top 10, it's the reason why they're top 10. That means you have other parts. You have guys that can make shots. Like Adam Miller, as good as any shooter in the country. I don't care what class he is. I mean, he can shoot the ball. And I saw that. Unfortunately, I saw it on the AAU circuit and all. He can shoot the ball at a high level. So Cabello is as talented as any point guard in the country. Shifty, crafty with the basketball, can score the ball. So no, you just can't sit there and say, okay, let him score 30. They have other guys that can make plays. I mean, they have post guys that you have to treat with a high level of respect. They have guys that can make shots, and it's part of it. When you start getting to the point where teams are top 10 and 5, it's the reason why they're top 10 and 5s, because they have multiple parts.
Eric?
Cuonzo, for obvious reasons, Mark Smith is usually the center of attention in this game, at least on the floor. Do you think it helps him or hurts him that there won't be 15,000 people out there cheering him or booing him on Saturday? And then as well, do you think it helps him that he's on kind of the role he is as Conference Player of the Week and led the team in scoring against Liberty? Do you think that helps his game as well?
I just think it helps him having a peace of mind in his basketball. It's probably, I would imagine, it's probably been the toughest for him because of the transition from one place to the other. If social media wasn't a world, then it wouldn't even be an issue. Probably wouldn't even be talking about it really. But because that is an issue, and kids see things, and I'm not saying Mark's consuming what he sees. But Mark's a mature guy. Mark's mature. Mark's want to play well. Mark's going to compete and do all those things. And it's probably the reason why you guys aren't talking to him as we speak. So it just, again, let him focus on the task at hand and play the game.
Jack?
And so you touched on it a little bit, but Illinois, obviously a team that's been shooting the three ball very well this year. I mean, how much has that been a point of emphasis for you, not only leading up to this game, but this week in general, since Liberty does it really well too?
we always try to defend the 3-point line as well as trying to make them. We spend a lot of time defending the 3-point line, but with that being said, it's one thing to stop a person from shooting a 3-point shot, but now you have to be able to defend them off the dribble. Those guys know how to shot fake and make the next play. Now you have to do that without fouling, hand checking, because instincts tell you to challenge a shot. The next thing you do, you put your hand on the guy's hip to try to slow him down. So, and that's a lot of practice, and I think we've been solid in that area. But again, they'll take 3-point shots. They'll get downhill. They'll get the ball inside. You have to make some decisions. When the ball go inside, how do you defend that? Do you double the post? Now you got to be ready to rotate. All these things. And it's not easy. And I go back to, I said it before, when you get to top 10 and 5 in the country, there's a reason why you're that.
Sweetie.
Because at least early in the season, pretty much everyone's kind of talked about maybe experienced teams having an easier time during COVID, just adjusting to everything. I guess with this game being between you guys and Illinois, both experienced teams, I guess, does that kind of maybe help the quality of play or anything, or kind of or affect things like that?
I don't think so. I don't necessarily think experience has a lot to do with it, because we didn't have our guys back in June and July. And my reasons was because of COVID. Now, a lot of teams, they had their teams back in June and July, so they had time to spend with their teams. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but it's what you implement, it's what your style is. Some teams might have a package of 50 different plays. That's a lot to consume. Some teams might have something different, 4 or 5 defensive situations. I don't know what their style is, but I don't necessarily think that is the reason, unless everybody had June and July off, and that wasn't the case. Because, I mean, that's because we look at our team right now, there are probably 15, 20 things that we have on our chalkboard as a coaching staff that as soon as we get a break, we have to spend time on, because we didn't have the June and July. That's stuff we would have taken care of and cleaned up in June and July. But because our guys play with such an effort and play so hard, a lot of stuff you might not be able to see the error on the floor, but we see it as a staff. But because they're strong and they're physically able to cover up some stuff, we can hide it, but we got to get it corrected.
Gabe.
Yeah, Cuonzo, you talked a little bit about Adam Miller, but I know you guys, definitely recruited him. Was he a guy you saw being able to come in and do in year one what he is right now?
No question. And oftentimes I think Adam might have been ranked anywhere, and I don't get consumed with rankings, but anywhere between 25 and 40. But then you see guys that were, so to speak, ranked in front of him. That's all fools go, because you knew his game would translate, because he can make shots, he's physical, he can drive the ball downhill. And I go back to when we recruited Robbie Hummel when I was at Purdue. He might have been a top 60, 70 guy. It's like, man, the guy can do anything on the floor. He came as a freshman, he could do anything on the floor. So you knew it would translate. Some of these guys, you have them up high for whatever reasons, but their games don't translate. His game, you knew from day one, because he was an elite shooter on an AAU circuit with 2 or 3 guys defending him. You knew he could straight line drive. You knew he was strong and fit him. He's probably 6'5", 205 pounds. Oh, yeah, no question about it. You saw that. Yeah.
Dave.
Cuonzo, when Jeremiah and Kofi are on the floor together, how much does this game come down to that matchup and who has the edge?
Good question. I think it's big. It's who can make plays, who can get offensive rebounds, who can finish at the rim, who can set ball screens and dive and make plays. I mean, it's big because they both put pressure on your defense, because you have to identify when they attacking down here. Like Jeremiah changed the game against Liberty for us because of that. And when that happens, you got to make a decision. Do you protect that, or you try to guard out on the 3-point line? And again, some has to give.
Mitch.
Sorry, I forgot to put my hand down.
Okay, go ahead.
Cuonzo, this is just a more general question, but just in watching you guys on the lighter side, you look a little more mobile and nimble yourself, moving around in the clothes you're wearing. And I'm just curious what it does feel like to be on the sideline between the mask and the difference in what you wear. Does it feel different to be coaching right now, physically?
It does. I mean, I respect the suit, and I like the attire we have on right now, because I think you can coach, you can feel good in it. The reason why I would like to wear a suit is because for young guys that grew up in areas I grew up in, and they see me in a suit, that means something. So that's why I would like to wear a suit, and that's really the only reason, so they can see that. But I would like to wear what I'm wearing now, and hopefully I can continue to wear that. Not that my wife and I'll be boxing about or anything like that, but it just, so hopefully I can continue that. But it just, because it's the game. The game is played on the floor, and I think you should be comfortable in coaching the game.
Do you, it seems like I'm sorry, RJ, but just real quick. I feel like you're maybe making your way up court a little more than usual.
Well, that's because of that black seed oil I've been taking. It's good on my joints.
Gabe, do you have one more?
Yeah, Cuonzo, I know it won't affect the game. You're kind of taking focus off of it, but just as a fan of the game and a guy who's coached in the atmosphere that this game can be, how much do you kind of miss the fact that it will be different this year?
Oh, no question. You missed that. I think the game has to be played in St. Louis for a lot of reasons. Just the town, the community, all that thing. And I think we have to be better when we continue playing the game in St. Louis and just creating that atmosphere where fans come in, where you see it almost Thursday and Friday. You know there's a game coming on Saturday. We have to get back to that. Plus, it also generates income and good feelings around the holiday season in the St. Louis area. So I think it's different, man. I mean, this time of year, you always want joy. The only negative about this, somebody has to fall, around that Christmas holiday. Somebody has to lose that game. But other than that, the whole both states should be excited about it because, again, it's exciting times and holiday season, all those things matter. And you got two high-level teams that time of year. You don't get many games like that.
Anything else for Coach?